Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Four Dads Podcast with your hosts Tease and Don Julio. Unfortunately, this week we were not able to get our PGA Tour member friend on the podcast this week because of last minute changes with his family, going on a quick Christmas vacation with them. We will hopefully be able to touch base with him within the next few weeks, so hang tight. We are still in contact. Really glad that he actually let us know before we actually were about to do the podcast, because we did have to change the timing up and stuff like that. So shout out to him for letting us know before. Anyway, a lot of stuff has happened between, Julio and us in the last podcast. We showed, or at least on Christmas Day, also jump back really quickly. Hopefully you guys had a Merry Christmas. If you guys celebrate Christmas, hopefully you guys had a great time with your friends and family. But we released our match on Christmas Day, and it was a fun video to put together. It was always a good time seeing Julio there, getting to play with him another round. I mean, I feel like we usually spread out our rounds every few years. I think the first time I played with you in Fig Garden once, and then a few years later I played with you in
Riverside.
Rancho Solano. Riverside. No, you're right, Riverside. And then a few years later, then we played Rancho Solano, and then a few years later we played here. And now that was nice to play with you another round. But the round itself, the match,
fun.
What were your thoughts?
I had a lot of fun. I mean, I got there at the crack of dawn. Literally, sun was still out, or still not out because it was still foggy down there. But got it at 7 at 30 degrees, and Corey and I had a good round. I mean, we both improved our game by. I think Corey said he improved it by 7 strokes. I think I improved mine by 6.
Jeez.
So
wow.
Yeah, so it was good. I mean, it was just good also seeing Corey. Corey's a, longtime friend of mine as well. Was one of the groomsmen in my wedding. And he's always, dude, come down. And I know for him, I was like, look, would you be open to do 36? He's like, let me just put it in my calendar. So that way I'm like, all right, cool. But no, the round was great. I'm sorry I could have swore off the first tee. I had turned it off because everyone was talking. Okay. Everybody was talking over there, and I was like, he only has a few hours of film left. So I was like, let me just turn this off. And I could have swore I clicked it again, and I was like holding it, and I was like, it's going. And all of a sudden, when you said it's not there, I'm like, no way did I do that. But I will say, guys, Teeds rips the ball off the first hole. It's the last 2 times it's been left, but man, he smashes it. It's like just this beautiful draw that's right on the cart path and then just finds the dirt. and literally when I said in that video, Teeds missed breaking his hand after he had hit the shot, there was the biggest rock, probably maybe just a few inches behind your ball that we couldn't see.
And I still moved a lot of the freaking rocks around because it was just so it was covered in rocks. It was literally you're at a rock pit, not even a sand pit. It was dirt clods and then rocks, and it was ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, it's fine.
I mean, play is for that. I wonder what the play what's the local rule there? Do you end up moving it back to the rough, or do you have to play it out of that waste area?
I would assume play it out of. I would assume, and you're allowed to legally, right? You're allowed to move loose rocks, correct? Right? Because you could you're allowed to do that, right? Remove loose rocks and stuff like that, as long as it's
if it is if it is a waste bunker, you could do a preferred lie, right? Mm-hmm. Or you can move it back either to the fairway or to, I believe, the rough, depending on what's the nearest place of relief. It just depends on what the local rule is, right? Gotcha. So for that, being that's primarily all wasteland, I would think that to avoid damages, the local rule would probably be move it to the rough, right? Move it over to the nearest place of relief. Because I mean, even that bunker on number 2 where I topped my 3-iron or topped my drive, and that bunker, terrible. It was I was horrible. Dude, there's
their bunkers
literal
are just
crater,
terrible, dude.
Yeah. Well, they're not terrible. They're
they are.
On
they are.
They're not bad.
They are terrible. No, they are. For if we were to pay what you guys pay, $100 to play at that course, and you're seeing that these bunkers have massive rocks in them, all throughout, and then on top of that, you have remember, what was it hole 6 where I was in the
Yeah.
bunker on that par 5, and you had a bunker earlier, but on mine it was literally like this much of like soft sand, and right underneath it was hard. And
Mhm.
if you watch that clip of me hitting, you hear like a boom boom, because I don't expect my club to get hit by anything when I go down for it,
Yeah.
and it bounces up off of it, and then I'm like, what the heck just happened? Like, because
Mhm.
like you can't legally ground the club if you want to be like exact on it. But I was just like, are you kidding me? Because like it looks so fluffy, and I was like, okay, know what
Well,
to
yeah. I
expect.
mean,
Just get out and
when you step into it, definitely it's super soft. You can dig your feet in, but yeah, if you're on like the hillside, it's super.
Mhm.
It's really shallow. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You bring up a good point. But I also think too, in respect for the course and obviously what they're doing, um, it looks like there's a lot of work that's going on. Yes, for it to be $100, yeah, it's just the Bidenomics of
No, it's
everything.
the
So
DeChambeau because
no,
of Bryson DeChambeau, his own course, man.
did he buy it outright or what?
No, they won't let him buy it apparently because it's a board of directors, and it's not
Mm,
just like one person where he could easily buy him out, no problem. But, um, I mean, yeah, I mean they're doing a lot of stuff on the course, but they've been doing a lot of stuff on the course for the last few years, and there has not been too much of an increase where I'm like, wow, like I'm okay with, let's say like you have a lot of work on the course, and then the greens are still immaculate. Like the greens are
yeah,
terrible. For like $100 again, I'll go back to it at a price point of $100, and you're putting on the greens that you see, like the
for
green, it's
Fresno, that's a lot.
green exactly. Well, I mean, for really any
It's a
course, you're paying $100. That's a lot of money, just in general. Just in general, $100 is $100. Not many people make more than $30 an hour. Not many. Maybe like 35, 40s even pushing it. If you just pay like a couple, like I don't know, like that's
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
you
I
know
get your point.
where you're like, okay, well, I'm sure you can go to country clubs like San Joaquin Country Club,
Yeah,
any other country club you play as a guest for like $75.
yep,
$25 less, and greens are so much better.
yeah.
And just like why can't they be fixed? Like what are they doing differently with all the money that you're getting? Because also they're not private, so they're clearly getting other funds, from the city, from
Well,
taxes or whatever, however they get.
look at how quickly that T sheet fills up. I mean, you literally have to be on your computer ready to
Midnight, dude.
go to
Mm-hmm.
book. I mean, when I booked mine, I was like, dang, I don't know if I'm gonna get it. And sure enough, it was like all the premium times of like 9 a.m. to 12 or to 11 gone already. It was
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
6:30, 6:45, 7:10, 7:20. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
and then in there too, it even says like beware possible frost delay. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, shit. Like we need to start at that time if we're good. I mean, me and Corey
If we're gonna
literally
make
got
it,
off. Yeah,
yeah.
me and Corey literally got off the course like
Right
almost right.
before we're about to
Yeah,
start, dude. Yeah, it was like perfect. But I mean, yeah, I mean, like overall, it was a fun time. Again, like we shot some good content. You had some great
yeah.
shots. I had some surprisingly great shots, and by surprisingly, I mean like with my pitching, because I literally that day tried a new pitching. Like I've been going pulling the club out more, but I watched something on Gavin Flo. He had a quick little golf ain't that hard. If you ever seen his like little YouTube shorts, or not YouTube,
Hmm.
Instagram reels, where he's like, you want to hinge your wrists on the when you're taking the club back for a pitch shot. So I
Yeah.
literally tried that for the first time. I tried a few on the practice, and then I tried some, and I was like, okay, and dude, I was getting so much spin on the ball,
You were getting
like, oh
crazy
my
amount of
god,
spin. I
I
mean,
was it
the
was so
shot,
good.
what was it? The shot on one, two, three, on four. That shot on four was ridiculous. You hit like 10 feet past the pin and literally came back to about,
Like a foot, man.
yeah, maybe inside of a foot for a tap it. I mean, it almost
Uh,
went in the hole.
I was
And
like,
that was,
oh my gosh.
yeah, that was the one thing me and Corey were talking about was like, dude, you're zipping the ball like a pro, and then Corey's like, what do you do your things? You're like, I just clean them after every swing, and it's like Corey's like, yeah, I haven't touched my clubs since like the last time we played, so he's like, there's still dirt on them, and I'm the same way. Like I make sure to take my my little brush after every
Mhm.
shot, and I like clean it all out. But yeah, dude, I mean, the one on the what was it? What was that one on? I think it was on that number 8. Yeah, I think it was number 8 where you hit that shot and you landed it a bit short, and it just bit. It was like 1-2 hop, and then came back to where it originally hit. And Corey gave you a good point, which was like, dude, you should just fly the number, or maybe a few feet short, because your ball just zips.
If I knew what that number was, man, I'm just pulling it back to where I hope it's fine and just hitting it, and I'm hoping like if I had enough time again. So like with Dragonfly, like you see, there's 2 holes there that you can practice pitch shots, right, where they have like 2 sand bunkers in the practice range.
Yeah,
it's like a 70% chance that like you go out there to practice or whatever, and there's someone using both of those. And it's so annoying because it's like, if they're not there, I'll go there for like, I'll probably hit like 15, 20 shots. So I have 15, 20 shots, get my balls, hit them back to where my bag is, and then I'll be done. And then I hit about 30, 40 shots, and then maybe some chips, to keep it going, because my chipping has been money. I chipped another one in. I was like, let's go. And I had no idea that losing your ball, which I should have maybe just played it from where I was, but I didn't expect you to be like, because again, I never played a match in my life. Like besides the last time we played, that was the only other one I did. I didn't lose a ball then like that. I had maybe hit one in the hazard, if anything, but that was different. We knew where the ball was. And yeah, that was one thing that kind of threw me off. The other thing that I noticed after the round, or not after the round, when I was putting the video together, I think I used the wrong handicaps for the holes to give myself like the pops. So what ended up happening is, apparently on the golf cart itself, they have handicaps for the way back tees and then handicap for the men's handicap. And I think I was going off of the way back tees on accident. I think so. Difference. But because I was like, there's like 3 of them, and I'm like, there should just be 2, a men's and a women's. Like, what's the big difference? Yeah. But there was 3, so I think I messed that up. I don't know how much that would have helped me or not, but obviously with me going down a few in the beginning of the back 9, F me up.
I feel like on that long par 5 or the dogleg left par 5, I looked at the card and I felt like, I was like, wow, how do you not get a pop here? Like, this is a tough hole. This is like one of the signature holes. You're like, I just don't get.
Because I did last time. I did last time. So
yeah,
you're right. Yeah, I mean, I almost sold that one out too. I almost sold that one out.
Yeah, dude, that
was crazy.
That 3-iron that I had hit from, what was it? I think it was like 255 or something like that. Like, I absolutely missiled that. Like when I watched the video. Yeah, when I watched the video, I was like, oh, that was good. That was really
Chills.
Good. And it sounded so good off the TV too. But I was gonna say something. Dude, I think the best part was those guys that played through, the cowboy guy. I was totally giving him some shit.
Dude, that was, remember we were driving by and he's like, have fun, guys, or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, what? Like, it was like the most, like, it was like the most uncomfortable, like, is that sarcastic? Or are you just being a dick? Like, I don't know how to read this, but I'm gonna drive away and act like I totally understand what you're saying. Like,
those guys were only playing one bag. Those guys were only playing one bag.
No way.
It was only the kid who was like the actual player who was, I mean, his next shot was like amazing. He hit driver just left of that bunker that we try and carry. It's a great drive. The dude who was wearing the cowboy stuff was like 40 yards right into the crap over there. Hits 3 shots to get out. But it was like, they were only playing one bag, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, man, I was like, what a terrible game to play and be a Cowboys fan.
Oh man.
So yeah, I thought that was
but yeah, I mean, it was a fun match, and like I mentioned last time, our plan next time when Julio comes on out, hopefully at the end of next
January.
January. There it is. That's it. First video 2024. Our plan is to do a foursome scramble from the way back tees and to shoot 10 under. I'll keep pushing that over every podcast because that's the plan. Talk to one of my buddies about it. We're going to get Corey in. I told Corey, and he's like, trying to get into one of your videos. And I'm like, oh, we didn't tell you? Like, yeah, you're down. You're in. Because I thought he listened to the podcast. I guess he's not, Corey. They'll probably see this one, though. But That'd be a lot of fun because you got Julio off the tee. Kyle, my buddy, can smash it as well. I don't hit it too bad, obviously, but obviously you have someone like a long ball hitter like Julio, and Corey's got some good short game, good putting as well. Julio's good all around, but Kyle, I think, is a +1 or +2. So it'll definitely be a fun day for sure. And easier video for me to put together because the
Yeah,
one thing
I'm
that,
definitely excited
yeah,
for it for sure. I'm
yeah,
definitely excited for that. I think it's going to be a good time. I mean, again, like some of the times that Corey and I have played in like 4-man scrambles with we have a friend of ours who is like the president of the boys or the Boy Scouts. So they do
okay.
like a fundraiser tournament. I think we've won every single year that we've played with him. And it's like ridiculous score at like 54, 50. I think we shot like a 52 one time and it's
Dude,
always
if
at
we can
Sim
break
Par.
60 on the way back tees with a 73, with a 73 par, that's at
Mhm.
least 14 under, which would
Yeah,
still be insane because it's over 8,000 yards. And I'm just
I
really
know.
looking forward to like my buddy Kyle, he was actually just telling I was when I was telling him about this, he was like, last time I played by myself at Dragonfly. I did one ball from the way back tees from the 700, 17th hole, and then one from the blues, and I bogeyed on the blues and I birdied on the uh, on the 700 yarder. He's like, because it sets you up a lot easier. That tree isn't in your way, the one that you were just under on the
Yep.
17th. So that one's
Hmm.
never going to be in your way because you're not even getting anywhere near that. You automatically technically lay up, but you still have about 400 yards to go, 350, 400 yards. Put
Yeah.
yourself in, scoring position and then go from there.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, again, that, how long is Dragonfly again? It's like
It,
80,
like
85.
you mean from the waybacks?
Yeah.
Let me see here. Oh, cool. I already got it popped up. Dragonfly scorecard. The waybacks are 8,073 yards.
So, wow. So that'd be the longest course or that ties the longest course that I've ever played. So I think I spoke about it at another time, earlier in the podcast when we first got started, when I went and played over in, Florida. I played this course called Emerald Hills.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I, it was in a Jewish community, and like I just remember I saw the number and I was like, wow, that's crazy. And the club pro was like, oh yeah, he's like, I saw you booked a tee time. He's like, we actually don't have anybody playing today, so you're gonna be the only person on the course. And I was
What?
like, really? Why? And he goes, there's a massive storm coming in, but if you go out, you can take a cart. He's like, you literally, he's like, there's not gonna be anybody there.
Here's a
He's
waiver just in case you die. It's not on us, please.
Yeah,
Just saying.
well, actually, he did, because he's like, if there's thunder, he's like, go somewhere else away from anything metal. He's like, leave the cart elsewhere and like just go get covered by a tree or whatever it may be, right? I was like, okay, but the storm literally came, and it was like 10 minutes of like the hardest rain I think I've ever experienced next to being in Hawaii,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it was gone. And it was just this beautiful day, like course all to myself. But that course played at 8,750 yards, I think.
What? That
Yeah,
can't be right. Almost 9,000 yards.
it was almost 9,000 yards, 8,750
What?
yards. But then the next day I went and played
Okay.
Trump
Yeah.
National Doral
Mm-hmm.
from the
I
Champions
remember you telling me
series.
about that. Yeah.
That one is almost up there too. That one was like 80, 85. And
Jeez.
yeah, I mean, the ball definitely flies out there for
Mm-hmm.
sure. And like just like how Dragonfly is, even in all the rain, they have tight fairways. So
Mm.
the ball just bounces and it like hydroplanes and goes. If you hit high missiles, it'll come down soft, but where you really see the difference is the green. Like you could throw that if it's 150 on the dot, you literally could hit a high shot at 150 and it'll just plug. Or you hit a low one, it'll just go stop. And
Skip.
then
Yeah.
yeah, do its little action. I mean, that course
Dang.
was pure, and
Dang.
by far one of the largest freaking clubhouses I think I've ever seen to date. 3 stories with a full on fitting bays up top. Second floor was
What?
all women's apparel, and then down below was like looked like PGA Superstore.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I do want to bring up. Obviously, today we got featured on PGA memes, which was
Oh yeah.
crazy. I
Yeah.
had this crazy, terrible thing that happened to me. Not terrible, but like it was pretty funny. was playing Madeira Golf and Country Club on Tuesday, the day after Christmas, and second hole, smash my drive right underneath the trees, and my ball ends up like. Let me see if I can do this. So like the what do you call it? The dirt or whatever. It's like a bowl, where like it literally the ball falls into this thing, and it looks like it's like in like a little mud ball like bowl. And like all circle around and all that kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. But it legitimately looks like a small little bowl that it's in because it rolls in and it can go all the ways and it would fall right back in. So I'm like, crap. Okay, how the heck am I gonna get this out? I have a shot. If it wasn't in like this little crevice with the little upslope in front of it, I'm like, if there wasn't this, I would just punch this thing out, no problem, about 40 yards out. And so that's what I go for. I go with a lob wedge. Don't ask me why, but I do. And I even slowed down the video like as much as I could. And I don't know how the heck this happened. I must have cleaned it, hit it well, but it hits the upslope and then just goes right up and then just drops right back down. Because I hit it well, make great contact. You listen to the video and it sounds like pure. It sounds like a great golf shot. If you just heard the sound, it sounds really good. And then it just lands right down next to me. And apparently it was good enough for PGA memes. It's got over 900K followers to feature us, which was sweet. And it was really funny, honestly. I was even kind of chuckling about it. Like, you got to be kidding me. Like, what are the odds? Like, the ball's literally here. And even the playing partner that I was with, Brandon, one of my buddies, he was like perpendicular and I was staring at him. I was staring at him and his dad in their cart. And I was literally like staring at him, waiting for his reaction. He goes, "Where is it? Is it on the green?" I'm like, "You didn't see it?" He's like, "No, where'd it go?" I heard it, and I'm like, "It's literally right here." It literally just moved like 2 inches technically. Like, it went right up. He's like, "No way." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, you gotta be." I was like, "It's like, well, that'll be good content." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. It will. It'll definitely be good content. It definitely is." And then the next shot, I actually do what I'm supposed to do. I pitch it, I clip a tree, but I'm short. I'm not short, but I'm on the green, front edge of the green, 2-putt for bogey, and I'm out of there. But the cool thing about this round, we played from the gold and whites. So yeah, the combo tees, but this was like the women's and the whites combos. And we were playing with Brandon's dad, another older guy, and they're like, let's play it. It's like, it's not an easy course even with the combo tees because of all the trees and the placements where you can't, like, there was one where it was like a 298 like par 4, but it went like at an almost L dog shape, where like the dog leg was almost a direct L. You had to hit like 150 straight and then 150 left. You could not. The trees were blocking it. Brandon tried, skied his 3-wood, and he was effed like right in the middle of these trees. But it was a lot of fun, and I definitely thought I was going to be able to break 80. I think I shot like 3 over on the front, but I think it was like what was it that killed me the most? A few of my drives off the tee kind of killed me, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, I never played on such a short round, but it's one of those courses that you think, oh, you're playing from the women's or basically like the front tees and the whites. Like, there's no way. I was like, after hole 2, I think I was even, bogey and a birdie. I was like, hey, I'm going to try and break par on this round. I think there's a chance. That's my goal. And I don't even think I broke 80, honestly. I was set myself pretty lofty. Had a good day, but I mean, it was crazy. When's the last time you played like really far up on tees?
I think when I went out to I think when I went out to Eagle Vines Golf Club in Napa Valley.
In Napa.
Yeah, they were doing some renovations to like the tee boxes, so they had everything pushed up forward. Because I had booked it on Golf Now and it was going to be like $70, and then all of a sudden I get there like, oh, yeah, it's going to be it's going to be $40, and I was like, what? They're like, yeah, we're doing some renovations. A lot of people didn't catch the note, so everyone's playing up. It was like wasn't the forward tees, it was the like mid, so probably like the whites, which still isn't bad. But that was the last time I played there, and that course is known for being crazy windy. And of course, I go out on a day where like I'm driving and I'm like, oh man, like it's not
You
that
feel
windy.
your car moving.
No. I said, oh wow, it's not that windy. All of a sudden I get there and I just see the trees just.
Mm.
And I was like, oh crap. So
Dang.
I got there and I did really bad on the front. I shot like 4 over, and then started off number 10 with a bogey or with a double bogey, and then I had a nice birdie on the next hole. I got 3 birdies in a row, parred, and then I birdied out on 17 and 18 to finish even. Or
Nice.
no, to finish
Nice.
1 over.
That would be a fun video. Also, to just have a foursome and play like from the red tees at Dragonfly. Like, okay, play the
Yeah.
way back tees. This is what we
I think
shot.
it would be funner to do it at Riverside. I would want to do that at Riverside because everything's open. You can literally just let it rip,
You don't
right? I
think it's
mean,
open at Dragonfly? I feel like it for the
no,
most part.
I think it is. But the thing is like, think about number 1, right? Number 1, you're still just like right there on the other side of the cart path,
Mm-hmm.
which means you still have to hit a big hook drive in order
Mm.
to get it there, right? Unless you just play irons and you're like, okay, yeah, I'll just give myself 150 out every time on every shot. But obviously,
Yeah.
you want to play more aggressive and see like what you can do. But
Right.
I would love
Right.
to do it at Riverside because Riverside's just straight back and forth like this. There's not very many dog legs except for number 9.
Yeah, I mean, I got nothing against Riverside. I love the
I don't
course.
either. I
It's
do
a great
too.
track. The only thing I have against it, and it's not the course related, is that it's always packed.
Yeah.
Always.
Well,
It's
it's
always
the only
packed.
course that's there.
I know,
That's
and
the
that's the
problem.
downside. That's the downside. Like, it's never not just like Dragonfly, where it's like we didn't have any issues the last 2 times we played there, and I don't even know how you experienced it in the morning, but the last like 5 or 6 times I played there, there's been like no issues,
Pace has
none.
never been an issue there. I mean, even with us filming, we still finish in
Mm-hmm.
about 4 to
Yeah.
four
Right.
and a half hours.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
know,
So I mean, we'll see. I mean, definitely that'll be fun regardless to change it up, but the
yeah,
fact that it's just so packed, and unless like by like setting up the tea time and then waiting a few days to see if anything has popped up, at the last minute. Because I know sometimes I'll do it with Dragonfly. I'll make a tea time, and then before I go out, I'll see, oh, are they still open right before me or after me to see like what to expect. Um, but yeah, I mean, regardless, it's always fun shooting content with you. We always have a good time. Uh,
yeah.
you know,
This Saturday, I'm playing here at the club,
mm,
and I'm gonna play in the men's club skins with my buddy Corey. Funny coincidence, but he's like he is a very very good golfer. Um, Used to compete on I think it was like the Coca-Cola tour back when in his 20s. Um, had a few pro am events that he won, but the guy's a stick. He doesn't give
yeah.
himself enough credit, but the guy's a stick. So we're gonna do a play. Um, we're gonna do a play on Saturday, and I'm excited to film with him just because he loves the podcast. Like I gave him one of our hats, and he's like, dude. He's like, when are you gonna get me on there, bro? And I'm like, well, what do you want to talk about? Because every time all you do is you basically just shit on your on your play, And then I said you're very methodical in the way that you think about things, but I said like, what do you want to talk about? Like what is it that you want to come on and say? He's like, I just want to be on the podcast and just say what's up. I just want to say what's up to the people. And I was like, all right, dude. Like, we'll do some content. We'll play. So
Bring
Saturday
that GoPro.
so Saturday we're doing that. I'm trying to think like what else am I doing? I think I have one more round before. No, wait, Saturday is the 30th, right? Yeah, that's it. That's my last round.
Last
Yeah.
round of the year. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, now I
Nice.
remember. Now I remember. I was thinking because normally we go down to my mom or we go down to my uncle's house over in Redwood City. I was thinking, oh yeah, maybe New Year's Day I could wake up early, right? Let the girls go to my uncle's house and go hang out or go hang out with my parents. Um, and I could go play Half Moon Bay with my dad and my cousin since they're all in town. But I was like, oh no, that's a weekend. My buddy Darren, he's a GM, he'll never let it fly. So I was like, that's why I'm playing Foxtail on Saturday. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So let's see here.
What do you
Any
think of
more?
some? What do you
Yeah,
think of all the new sneak peeks of some of the new equipment coming out next year?
dude. To be honest,
Every driver's guaranteed 10 more yards.
dude. To be honest, I don't really look at that stuff. And I'm like, I don't, like when I see it. The only thing that I looked at, because right before this podcast, Julio was going over some of the new things that are going to be dropping in the new year. Um, was Kirkland. I was like, dude, that's freaking sick. Like, one of my wife's cousin was reaching out to me like a couple days before Christmas, like, hey, I want to get a set of golf clubs for my boyfriend. Like, what should I get? I don't really know. And I was like, if you can get a hand on them, Kirkland, save you a bunch of money, great quality, and like you can get everything for like $1,000 with like a good quality like starter set. But I don't think she was able to because of just how quickly those things were snatched up
Yeah,
online, and then how much they're going for after.
yeah,
But dude, with how expensive stuff is, I am not looking at anything. The only thing that I'm because when I look at stuff, I like get FOMO, and then I want it, and then I just
yeah.
gotta have it, and then I just like
Welcome to my life with swag.
yeah, yeah,
Swag golf, like, dude, I literally spend like, sorry, Isis, for dropping this, but I mean, I know you're gonna watch it because you support us, and I love you, babe. But dude, those head covers are like 150 bucks, like
yeah,
for one. And
yeah.
then
Like if
if
you're
I get
lucky.
the trio, like I did for the Ryder Cup, the
Mm-hmm.
presidents, the money, President's Day, like, dude, those are 300 for the pack. And it's like, they're just head covers. Like, I tell
Mm-hmm.
myself this all the time, but it's like, they're
They're
so
so
sick,
sick.
dude,
Exactly.
literally. And even
Exactly.
even like this, like, shout out North Coast Golf Company. Like, love
Mm-hmm.
this jacket, love this hoodie, super comfortable. If you guys don't know who they are, turn yourself on to them. Their stuff is great. It's made here in the US. Literally one of the best hoodies I think I've ever gotten. I mean, next the thing, it reminds me of like the Travis Matthew Cloud hoodie. It
Hmm.
literally just feels like a snuggie. Like, it's perfect. The only thing I will say is, like, the strings. If you're playing in golf with this, the strings are crazy long, so you may want to like snip them and then just reburn them here. But still,
Mm.
dude, this thing is literally like a blanket. I love this thing.
That's
So
awesome. I mean, like,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, just yeah. I just one. I don't have money. The only thing that I will be look that I am the next things that I do need to get though is going to be shafts. I'm
you
gonna go the
can.
graphite route, but I'm gonna get obviously goodish quality ones, and obviously looking at LA Golf because my buddy Brandon can hook it up for cost price.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. But
Oh,
it's
my only suggestion is go get fitted and see what the numbers are. If there's not much difference in the numbers, just
it's
stick. I mean,
no,
just
it's
stick
not.
with.
It's not the so yeah. So that's the goal. The goal for me is to keep the same numbers. It has nothing to do with playing better. Obviously, playing better obviously would be great. Don't get me wrong, but the main reason is for my dinky wrists,
No,
my
that's
rinky
not going to
dinky
make
wrists.
it's not going to make
It
much.
is.
No,
It's
it's
going to help
not.
on the what do they call it?
No, it's not, because the frequency of the graphite shaft is going to replicate what that steel shaft is, especially if you're looking at LA Golf shaft. Those shafts are not flimsy in any way, shape, or form. Those are cream of the crop. That was like, what were they? There was this Adams back in the day had the, oh my god, why am I? It was, I think it was a Diamana 120 gram iron shaft that you could get inside of these Adams XDs. And man, the only thing that I could tell is, just because it was only 120 grams instead of it being like 130, the ball launched and it had less spin. It would just take off. I mean, those things were just freaking launchers.
Hmm.
But I'm telling you, if you're fitted to something that is exactly what you're playing now, there's no benefit. You're saying that's going to help your wrist. It really doesn't, because that shaft is still going to be at the same weight at what your iron was. the frequency and the torque points are still going to be at the same of what your metal was. There's really
Well, I mean, the only things that that I've really been fitted for, and that was even fittish, was my irons.
yeah.
And even then, the guy was like, T200s will probably work best for you, and I was like, nah, F that. I want T100s. Those things are like cute, the best looking freaking irons I've ever seen in my life. I'm in love with these things. I gotta go with the T100s, and I hit them fine, but I just wasn't hitting them well on turf. Plus, I didn't wear golf shoes. Plus, I didn't have a glove on. What an idiot was I? Like I just had an excellent, thing. But I'm thinking, if anything, I would just do the wedges first
That makes
to
sense.
see that, because I know you have. I think it's graphite shafts for your wedges.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've heard they're
Well, no,
amazing.
I just have blacked out steel shafts, but I did do
Oh,
that.
okay.
I did do
Okay.
that on a set. I did do that on a set of my old, what were they? SM5s.
Mm-hmm.
I still have them in the garage, but yeah, those ones I put I forget what they were. They were something, and like the only thing that I saw different was a lot more spin. I was able to kind of control my flight more, but I saw a lot more spin to where I was able to really nip it and bring it right back. But I would highly suggest, like, get on a monitor, find out what those numbers are, because ultimately you want to keep that dispersion. And being that you have what are they? You have AMT shafts in there, the
Well,
black
on the
ones.
wedges, dude, I think I have AMT black S300s
Yeah,
or
which is, I think,
S200s.
do you have
But I just have it in
S100s?
one. I just have it in one. And
Oh,
then in
okay.
the other two, it's like KBS 90. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know why I went with that, but I just picked those.
Yeah, yeah. The wedges
So,
probably make a big difference, but I think in your irons you have the white
no,
AMTs.
I got the black. I got the black.
Oh yeah,
Black AMT.
the black ones. Okay, and those are S300s too, or X?
Yeah. Yeah. Those are S. They're not
Yeah,
X. And I don't know if I would need X's to keep,
I don't think so.
what do you call it? Because I have X shafts in. Well, no,
In your drivers.
in my driver and woods, I have X's, but
Yeah,
I mean, those are great.
those you definitely nuke. But I don't know, man. I mean, I've hit some of the clubs that have LA golf shafts in them, and the numbers are pretty much identical to what I hit my 7-iron with, with X100 hard steps.
Well,
So
like I said, the only thing that I want is just recovery, easier recovery from my wrist. That's it. If that does help, and that makes it possible to maybe play back back-to-back, dude,
you should
sign me
just
up.
get the inline skating, like, wrist guards,
You can't swing a golf club with wrist guards, dude.
You could always just wrap them.
Yeah,
You could
will that
do
really help?
you could do it like Bubba Watson, how he does like the catcher ramp. So it's like here.
Really?
Remember how, like, when I just remember this catcher that I had in college. Whenever he would catch me, he'd put like a wrap here and then tighten his wrist all
Mm-hmm.
the time. And he would just say, like, yeah, it just stiffens my wrist so it's not flinging back all the time. I was like, way to gas me up, dude. I like that. But yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, I was looking at that, but yeah, I mean, regardless, that's literally the only thing that I would really be interested in. Everything else, I like what I have, unless it's free, as in, like, the we were talking
yeah.
about with Mizuno and everything. But
Dude, speaking of Mizuno, so remember those irons that I sent you? So those are only going to be released in Japan, and they're going to be somewhere around like 8,000 yen, I believe is what I saw, which is $1,900 US dollars, right?
what? As in, like, for like a
And
5 to pitching wedge, like that. That's like
no,
what the
no,
standard would be.
pitching wedge through 4-iron
Okay.
for them. But actually, I don't know. They could be pitching wedge to 3, or actually they would call it 10 or 3 to 10 iron or whatever it is. Like, I forget what it is. But everyone's like, no way. Like, are you kidding me? Like, Mizuno, what are you doing? Release them here in the US. Like, you guys are going to make a killing on those, because literally it's the muscle back version, but it has like the master stamp on it. Has all the colorways. The shafts are all one of a kind, where it has like the tour issue dynamic golds in there. And then if you end up ordering anything else, they'll do like a one off of the KBS or um what's the other one? Project X, or even the Nismo or something like that. I forget what they're called.
So these guys are these pretty limited? Are they gonna go pretty quickly, or
they're only going to be in Japan. They're not
no?
going
I
to be
know
here in
that,
the US.
but I'm saying, like, are they limited, or would you say that, like, if you wanted to order them on the day that you can order them at the end of the day and you would have a problem?
I don't know, because it's only going to be for the Japanese market, so I assume they're probably going to be limited release. But
I mean, I got an uncle in Japan. I'm sure he has an address.
yeah, he would just have
You
to
want to
check.
flip
Or
them?
the only thing is though is that, well, I don't know, because I remember a friend of mine went to Japan and he played some golf at a club there, and he brought me back Titleist balls, right? But instead of them being Pro V1s, they were like,
Japan's version or something.
yeah, it was like a VRG X1, or it was a VRG X1 is what the ball was called. It wasn't called the Titleist Pro V1, but that's like the version of them, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I don't know, things could be completely different. I don't know. It'll be interesting, but I was shocked because I was like, dude, the people in US who love Mizunos, and there's a lot of people. I still love Mizunos. I have a set sitting in there, and I'm always like, should I switch them out? So I switched out my clubs, but I'm like, no, I hit these. I don't need to do all that. The only thing is, I just keep flirting around with that putter I played the first round, and then the putter I played the second round. That's the only two that I keep going back and forth with. I know, but I was just saying, like, Mizuno, you're missing out on a huge audience, man. Like, I think if you were to release those are going to be gone so fast. But then also, like, people are going to flip them, and you're going to see them being sold for tens of thousands of dollars. In
You
my
think
opinion.
that much? If you
Oh
can get
yeah,
hands on them, they're easily going to be sold for that much?
think about how much the replica putter that Jordan Spieth, that Scotty Cameron released the year after Jordan Spieth won his first round, right, with his signature on it. Those hit the Scotty Cameron Club website, bro. Those were gone so fast, and they're still holding their value, and people are still selling them at like 5,000 right now, and it's been years. I mean, when you buy them through the club, like, yes, they're anywhere from 800 to 1,000. I mean, sometimes you'll see them get up higher because they'll have like the Circle T on them. But
you mean like for like you get them through the Scotty Cameron website?
yeah. So Scotty Cameron has like the club, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when you sign up for the Scotty Club, it's $100 fee each year. But then they send you like a backpack. They send you all these limited edition head covers that are
Right.
like one-offs. But also when they bring stuff out of the archive, you can then go on there and buy stuff. Like the one that I was rocking when we played, right? Oh wait, I didn't have that one when we played. The Santa one that you've seen on my that I've showed you before, right? Like the Lana Claus, like you can get that. I have like the topless Sony Oakland Hawaiian girl on there that's still in the case. Like when I did it, like, yeah, dude, you can get some of those, and those flip and have a lot of value. But
oh yeah,
golf is just, again, like what we've seen with our shoes, right? Like the golf industry is, if you got something hot, people are gonna buy it because everyone
100%.
wants the coolest bag. It's like, it doesn't matter what the price is. Like if I can have the dopest bag and still shoot 100, like, I don't even care. My stuff looks doper than yours.
Yeah, right.
I'll suck
right.
Yeah.
Right. I know the Cameron Club is ridiculous. I know just in general they now do drawings every Wednesday for I think they're all like Circle T putters. So there's like four putters every Wednesday that come out, and you click to enter. And I've been entering at least ever since they've started. I think it was this year that they started. I haven't won. You probably get taken off the list if you do win, because they're trying to get rid of all the people that would just the bots and stuff like that. You got to have a physical address, but these putters
I wish I wish
Dude,
freaking Swag did that, because Swag, it's like you get on the website and
they're
everything's
gone.
gone like that.
Dude, but these putters are anywhere from like $2,000 to $5,000.
Yeah.
Obviously, though, you buy them and you majority of the time could sell them for almost double what you get it for.
Yep.
Which that is literally 100% what I'm going to do to help pay off my credit card if I do get lucky to get one. But then I got to have enough money on my credit card to get one. Woo!
That's
That's
like
a
this one.
that's a trillium.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. This is the Trillium one, the TG one.
beautiful.
I
But
almost
yeah,
rocked. I almost rocked that one when we played. I told
it's
Corey
just,
because
dude, you should just massive flex.
it's never touched grass. It's only touched turf.
Oh, she's a
I bought
virgin, huh?
Yeah, I bought it. I bought it from my buddy who he was working at one of the courses here, and he's like, dude, I just came across this season. He's like, I haven't touched on grass because the guy told me that it's like, it's worth a lot. And I was like, let me see. So I looked at it, and if he watches this, I'm sorry that I lied to you, but I wanted it really bad. I said, no, dude, this one's not like the real one.
No.
And I ended up taking it off of him for like $600 instead of 1,000 or more. It would have been more, but yeah, yeah.
Oh
So
no.
it's literally never touched it. I have it sitting like on the putting mat so the bottom like doesn't get scratched from the carpet. Like I've
Poor
literally
putters watching
only
all your other putters, talking to your putters when you're asleep. Like, hey, what's it like? What's it
yeah.
like? How,
What's it
what
like?
the, they'll never let me out, man. They'll never let me
Yeah.
out.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I like a part of me wants to like put it up, but then another part of me is like, I mean, fuck, like fuck it, like it's a putter. Why don't I just play it? But then I just can't.
Yeah, I mean, danged if you do, danged if you don't. I'm someone that, like, I know you have a
You
lot of
got it. You
putters,
got it. Yeah.
and
If you
like,
got it, you
and
got
that,
to play it.
and that's hard for me. Like, if I had some close-ish to the kind of money that you make and you could fork up on this stuff, it might be a little different. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, if I have this thing, like you said, I'm playing that, and I don't care what I shoot. I'm gonna look good shooting whatever I shoot,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like a massive flex. But to each their own. It's not my putter, it's not in my hand, so I can't tell you what to do.
Yeah. No, I got some good ones. Like I got this Odyssey Tour 001 off the tour van, and this thing came with a stability shaft in it.
And you just snaked
And
it right off the van, huh? You just went on in. I know.
no, so
I'm allowed to be here.
yeah,
You
no, no,
take this
no.
to Rory.
I actually played with this guy he was the teaching pro over at one of the clubs in Novato, and um yeah, basically he just was like, he's like, dude, he's like, I saw it in his office, and I was like, hey, is that a 001? He goes, yeah. He's like, what do you know about those? And I was like, oh, dude, I worked for Callaway, like I know that those are the tour van stamped ones. And he goes, oh yeah, yeah. And I was like, do you not play it? He goes, no, not really. He's like, never really found a need for it, I guess. He's like, I just always kept it just because it was nice, and it looked good and everything. And I was like, all right, well, if you want to get rid of it, like, let me know. He ends up getting the I think he was like the assistant golf instructor at Olympic now. And he was like, hey,
Hmm.
he's like, you want the putter? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, what do you want for it? He goes, play me for it. And I was like, okay. And so he goes, yeah. He's like, we're always pretty even. He's like, if you tie me or beat me, he's like, I'll give it to you. I was like, okay, fine. So we go to his club and we play, and it literally came down to like the 18th hole. I was down one. It was like neck and neck the whole way. Literally, he made par, I made bogey, or I made birdie. We tied, and he's like, it's yours. Like, you can have it.
So that was the only thing on the line. If you would have lost, they just would have been like, you missed out on it, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
What?
Or he would have been like, all right, give me, I don't know. I'm sure he still says till this day, but I'm sure he would have probably just been like, give me $200 for it. or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, dang, that's dope, dude. Yeah, flip
Yeah.
that one. Flip that one. Buy some cool new Scotties or some new
Yeah.
swag.
Probably
Um,
swag.
right, right. But yeah, I feel like golf has also been pretty quiet on the PGA Tour front because there really haven't been any tournaments going on. Next week there will be the tournament, the Century of Champions or whatever it is at in Hawaii. All the PGA Tour winners that won last year, they're eligible to play in this tournament, which should be, I think, the first tournament of the year for the PGA Tour. So that'll be pretty cool to talk about. Beautiful course
Yeah.
over there at Kapalua, which my dad honestly has even played at that course. I don't know how. I doubt he even played with a whole box of balls. I'm sure he lost them all. But it's just crazy. My dad's played at Pebble for work. My dad's played at Kapalua. And I'm like, what? Like, I can't even get that guy out to the driving range. Like, what is
Dude,
going on?
my dad was telling me that when he first played Pebble, I think it was like the year that I was born, 91. Um, he paid $40 for Pebble. And
Uh,
I was like, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, me and some of the guys, we went out, and he's like, Pebble Beach was $40. And I was like, we're
even in
talking
the
about the same
80s, that's cheap.
dude in
Or
the
90s,
80s.
90s. Yeah, yeah.
No,
Even in the
in
90s.
the 80s, this one guy named Chris, who's a part of my men's club, he played Pebble when he was 22 years old in the 80s, and it was $23. Yeah. So let's just put this together. Like, you're telling me that from in 30 years, okay, we'll take it from my dad, or 32 years now, from when my dad played it, it went from being $40 or whatever it was, right, to now being over $750 to play.
Let me see. What is that? What's like percentage is that? How do you do that percentage? It's obviously over 100%, but like, was that like 10 times? Almost no, maybe like 8 times the amount.
Yeah,
Like that's
I mean,
insane.
yeah,
Like
that's
you're telling me you
more.
go from $23 in the 80s to $40 in the early 90s. Yeah, that's about like a 5-10 year gap. But even
Yeah,
then, if you jumped up 10, what, about $20 every decade, you're still
yeah.
putting yourself at about 80, 70, $80.
Hmm.
And it's like 700-800 bucks now. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I was gonna take my cousin who just graduated from college to go play Spyglass. And the times that I've played Spyglass, I didn't realize how much of a discount you get being a Dukes member, right?
Mm.
But I called and I was like, "Hey, yeah, I would love to come out there." Like, oh, are you staying with us? And I was like, "No, I'm not." And literally, the guy's like, "Okay, well, it's going to be $650 each." And I was like, "Excuse me, excuse me,"
Squeeze me.
because normally when I've gone, it's only been like 230, yeah, 245 or something like that.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I was just like,
That's
"Dude,
nuts.
I know, bro, I know." And it's crazy to say that I've played, I've played all the courses on, or I played all the courses on uh 17 Mile Drive except for Cypress.
Hmm. Must be
Yeah,
nice. We'll have to shoot
always
some
been.
vids out there. We'll have to shoot some vids out there more big, more large and in charge.
Who knows, man? I mean, you keep working the content the way that you're doing. It's who knows. I mean, we greatly appreciate all the support from everyone. Like, we're doing this again as just dads that love the game of golf, but also as ex-athletes ourselves who find ways to stay competitive,
Yep.
with not just between each others, but ourselves as well. And
Hmm.
this is just somewhere fun. I mean, we got some things planned for 2024 that we want to bring out with some more accessories, some more hats. We just want to get things going, and excited for it. So thank you again for all the support, and we wish you and your families a belated very Merry Christmas and just the best Happy New Year.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
You already know. And like that, we are out. Don't forget to stay fly and go low. We'll see you in the new year.